Edward Emil Kranepool was born in the Bronx, New York on November 8, 1944. Kranepool attended James Monroe High School, where he began playing baseball and basketball. Met scout Bubba Gennard signed Kranepool in 1962 at the age of 17 as an amateur free agent. By the time he retired in 1979, he had become the last remaining Met from their inaugural 1962 season and from the Miracle Mets World Championship team of 1969. Kranepool will forever be remembered as the forever Met and one of the best.
Put it in the box!
Good morning, Mets family, and welcome back to another edition of Good Morning Mets. I'm your host, Rasheed McDonald, and last night, the New York Mets pulled out a victory that they needed to get. The Braves lost, the Mets won. The Mets are in the third wildcard spot, up by a game on the Braves. They also picked up half a game on the Padres and the Diamondbacks. So now they're half a game behind the Diamondbacks and they're a game behind the San Diego Padres. So it's going to be spicy down the stretch, and we have to get it started with the highlights. Mets up in the sixth, taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Bottom seventh, Jose Butto hits Jimenez, and that'll bring in the tying run. Next batter, Nate Lukes, looking to get the lead for the Blue Jays, and he'll fly out to Brandon Nimmo with the runner on third, looking to tag up, and the throw at the plate is close, but he is safe. The Blue Jays will take the 2-1 lead. Top 8, the Mets, bases loaded, and the pitcher throws the ball away. Tyler will score the tying run, and then Brandon Nimmo swings and misses the pitch, and that will allow Eddie Alvarez to score the go-ahead run from the Mets. They'll lead 3-2, and in the bottom of the ninth, Edwin Diaz looking for his 6th consecutive no-run inning, and it's that close to being over. Mets win 3-2. Tonight on the mound, we have David Peterson going up against an old friend. Chris Bassett will take the mound for the Blue Jays, and it's going to be a good one. The Mets have to win this series, and they have one of their better pitchers on the mound for this game. So bring it, get ready for the Phillies, and then we got Sean Manaea tomorrow, hopefully for a sweep. So let's handle business the way we're supposed to handle it in Toronto, and then the off day to get ready for the Phillies. And it's going to be some of the best baseball you're going to see over that stretch, because that begins a stretch where the Mets face the Phillies 7 times, and then they have 3 against Atlanta before the end of the season. So it's going to be exciting to see how the season ends. And we want it to end on a good note. We want the Mets to be in the postseason, because that means that Francisco Lindor will be firmly in the conversation for MVP. And we're going to get into a discussion about MVP and why I think Francisco Lindor deserves every bit of consideration for the MVP of the National League. So it's Francisco Lindor versus Shohei Ohtani. Let's start with Lindor. Francisco Lindor has played every single game this season, showing up not just offensively, but also as an elite defender, day in and day out. Lindor is on pace for back-to-back 30-30 seasons. And the 30 home runs this season ties him for second, behind only Alex Rodriguez for the most 30 home run seasons by a shortstop. That's a crazy and an incredible accomplishment. But there's more. Back in May, when Lindor got off to a slow start, the Mets seemed like they were on the verge of selling at the deadline. However, since May 30th, they have been one of the best teams in baseball, with the best record in baseball since May 30th. Lindor's presence and performance has been crucial to this turnaround. If he weren't in the lineup every single day, the Mets probably wouldn't be where they are right now. Now let's move on to Shohei Ohtani. He's chasing a historic feat in Major League Baseball. There's never been a player who hit 50 home runs and stolen 50 bases in the same season. Now you have to really think about that. All of the Hall of Fame players, none of them have ever had a 50 home run and 50 stolen base season. Now this season, through his first 140 games, Ohtani has hit 46 home runs and swiped 46 bases. So he's currently on pace, as of Monday, for 52 home runs and 52 stolen bases. But the MVP race isn't just about stats, it's about value. What makes a player the most valuable player in the entire sport? If you're breaking records like Ohtani, potentially becoming the first player to ever achieve 50-50, it's hard to argue against that. When you look at the Dodgers season, Ohtani has been their most consistent presence, right? You cannot factor injuries into how a player can perform. So if you say Ohtani isn't in the Dodgers lineup, the Dodgers will be the same. Now that is true if Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman are healthy. Because last season, that's who the Dodgers had, and the Dodgers had a first-round bye in their previous 2 seasons, with Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman in the lineup. So you cannot factor injuries into that. So we're going to take that out of it, right? And if Ohtani was out of the lineup with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts healthy, maybe the Dodgers will still be just as good, right? And their pitching is elite when healthy. That said, Ohtani is a designated hitter who isn't playing the field or pitching this year after undergoing Tommy John surgery last season. Lindor, on the other hand, is playing both sides of the game, offensively and defensively, and not just here and there. He plays it every single day. Lindor is among the league leaders in games played this season. In fact, he's probably at the top, along with Pete Alonso. They play every single day. This brings us to the MVP discussion. Historically, no DH has ever won the MVP award because the perception is that they only play half the game. And the voters are writers, and they stick to their guns. They're very old school, and they don't like to move away from the things that got them there before. So it's hard to ignore the historic numbers that Ohtani's putting up. So you might have to look beyond what you've done before if you're a writer. Now let's look at some historical context, right? If Shohei Ohtani wins, he gets 50-50, that doesn't necessarily mean he has to be MVP, right? Let's look at the Triple Crown. Now, if you think that a Triple Crown winner would always win MVP, I mean, come on. You're leading the league in home runs, RBIs, and batting average. That's the best of the best. But there are 4 instances where Triple Crown winner did not even win the MVP. 2 guys, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig. So yes, it's possible that Ohtani, who could have a 50-50 season, could still not win the MVP. And this is where the postseason comes to play. Now, it goes back to the writers don't like to sway away from the things that got them there. But this season, if the Mets make the postseason, now you have to take the postseason play into consideration because both of these guys have had incredible seasons. So now we have to look at the postseason. We have to look at the case. If Lindor goes deep into the postseason and Ohtani gets bounced, I mean, you have to consider Lindor MVP. And if Lindor gets bounced, Shohei Ohtani already put up the numbers individually, and if the Dodgers go deep and potentially win a World Series, then the award is his, no doubt. So we'll see how the award is handed out at the end of the season. Hopefully the Mets make a deep run because you know that's what we want. But we'll see how the MVP race plays out, and I'm just happy that Lindor is finally getting the recognition he deserves. So we'll see what happens. Now don't forget, hit the voicemail line. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you think. We'll feature it on a video. So don't forget to hit that voicemail line. And you already know the vibes. Let's go Mets.